But I want to start with this. Now, I know he's back practicing with the team, and it feels like on some level the standoff was averted. But Kareem Hunt, who's a really talented running back, and I love how like stories are portrayed, right? Like he has a 2-year contract with the Cleveland Browns. In that 2-year contract, he's in year 2. So he's in the final year of a contract. Well, there's either the first year or the final year of a 2-year contract. Nonetheless, he requested to be traded, and the Browns are like, no, we're not trading you. Remember, this is the same Kareem Hunt who had 1,300 yards rushing as a rookie, but his next season was cut short due to injury and then suspension, and ultimately they released him. He signed with Cleveland after serving a suspension for an off-the-field domestic violence incident. He returned 2 years ago, 841 yards rushing, splitting time, and last year he had 4.9 yards to carry, but only 386 yards rushing. He wants to be traded. You want to be what? Bro, what value do you have? Oh, I want a contract extension. Here's the thing, is we have a tendency, I think, not just as humans, but especially as men, to look at things through the eyes of one. We worry about ourselves. And you have to on some level when you're a professional athlete. Hey, man, the team looks good, but I got to worry about me. And he's concerned with his own future. And I'm guessing, actually not really guessing, but he knows he's not going to get an extension from them. And so the reason you asked to be traded is send me somewhere where I can be the featured back. If I'm the featured back, instead of getting 500-600 yards rushing, I can get 1,000 yards rushing. If I get 1,000 yards rushing, then all of a sudden I get a long-term contract extension somewhere in the neighborhood of what I'm earning now. And, that's not unreasonable talk. It really isn't. Like, I want to make sure that we understand here. That's not anything like, hey, man, I just want a chance to start. I'm 27 years old. I got to get that next contract before I turn 30. And the only way to do so is to kill it this year. And I won't be able to kill it this year sharing time. Understood. But the inability for you to read a room, to understand the league and understand your team. Like, look, dude, we kind of got some issues here. We don't know if our quarterback's going to be eligible to play the first 6 games or this season at all. We also have a quarterback where we're dealing with the shrapnel of the alleged incidents in Houston. No one has really held Kareem Hunt in Cleveland accountable for the domestic violence, which he admitted to, and ultimately it caused his exodus from the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Like, no one's ever, like, in all the things that have been said about Cleveland and going after Deshaun Watson, nobody said, like, hey, like, what? But he's brought it now to the forefront by asking to be traded. Like, look, dude, we stood by you when you had this on your record. We gave you a 2-year contract, and in year 2, you want out when we're massively overpaying you, considering you're splitting time at running back? Read the room, right? And he's, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that in my 40-plus years of living on this earth, I read the room constantly or I read the room consistently. But in this particular case, when you have all that's going on with Deshaun Watson and all the uncertainty at quarterback and all of the bad press that the Browns have gotten in their own hometown, is this really the time in which you expect the Browns to take pennies on the dollar to help you for your career, knowing that they may, with Jacoby Brissett, they're probably going to have to run it 75% of the time before Deshaun Watson gets eligible, if he's eligible at all this season. The only thing worse than requesting a trade and expecting a contract extension before that is cowering back days later, which you're doing now, understanding there isn't really a trade value. They have no desire to trade you. You didn't read the room, and now you got to play with any coach, any player in that locker room questioning how much you're all in on the team. What a bad, like, as coaches, you can have a bad play call. As a player, you can make a bad decision. This is one in which whether he huddled with his agent or he did it on his own and told his agent he wanted to do it, whatever it is, yikes. Imagine being the guy who goes to the front office, who gave him a 2-year contract, one in which he's making good, solid running back money, and saying, I want a contract extension. No, we're not open to that. It's year 2 of a 2-year deal. Okay, I want to be traded. We're not doing that either. We're not going to give you away when we need running backs and we have you under contract. In this particular case, kudos to the Browns. You wish they would have done the right thing or been more responsible with the Deshaun Watson thing or others in the past, but we have to be fair to them. If we're going to criticize them when they make ill-fated decisions, this is one that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense.